Hello, cuties. It's me, Shelly Von Miller, the internet's favorite magic newbie and jank deck maker, and it's Women's History Month. Woo! Let's go! And before I get any of those comments from you stinky men out there, no, shut it. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants to hear it. This is a space where I'm going to be talking about magic, and you can just sit back and enjoy it, or else. Cool. We good? We all good? Now back to Women's History Month. So with that and celebrating women and everything like that, I thought I'd drop my builds of some of my favorite women that I have some commander decks around, and yeah, so each week I'm going to be showing off a deck that features a very powerful femme commander and some of the key features and ways that I interact with it in my pods that I play in. And of course, I thought the perfect deck to start with would be the Hot Lesbian's Wife. If you don't know, this is one of my playthroughs of Baldur's Gate 3. You can actually go watch it on the YouTube right now. This YouTube channel, you can go watch that playthrough. Hot Lesbian's Wife is, of course, Karlach. Yeah, that's right. Pink box, because just because you're big and brawny doesn't mean you can just be a girly pop. And of course, showing off my Babs Tar sticker. Look at that. So beautiful. So gorgeous. I love Babs Tar art. But yeah, this is my Karlach Fury of Avernus with the Flaming Fist background as the commander. And I mean, who doesn't want Karlach as their commander? Or in their 99. Hello, she's perfect. So I thought I'd let y'all know what the name of this deck is. It is called Big Mommy Magic. That's right. All the ladies in this deck like to hit hard or cause some mayhem, and I'm there for it. So it's a red-white Boros deck for those who need to know. Before we get into it, this video is brought to you by ManaPool, your new favorite Magic the Gathering online marketplace where you can get singles and sealed products from all over the place by trusted sellers. Plus, they have a wonderful optimizer tool, so if you're wanting to get all these different cards but from one seller, you can do that by utilizing their tools. Also, this deck right here, this deck will be available to buy and look at ManaPool. So if you want to buy your own Big Mommy Magic deck, you can do that. Don't worry. You can have it all. The link will be down below. Haha. Use my referral link down there in the show notes and get your Magic the Gathering cards today from ManaPool.com. A little background on this deck. Whenever I saw Karlach was a magic card, I had to get her. And I mean, she was my wife through the Hot Lesbian playthrough. So, you know, it's a thing. I have to, so far I've built all of the companions that I've romanced, and Karlach was one of the first. It was Halsin and then Karlach and then Gale. But we'll get into a whole nother time. Karlach states, let's see, you see this? I have the really cool D&D art one. Some people like the Secret Lair one. I like the D&D art because it's just really cool. Karlach states, whenever you attack, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, untap all attacking creatures. They gain first strike until end of turn. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. And then I get to choose a background. Love that. Which is great. Who doesn't want to hit twice in one turn? But I wanted her to be extra punchy, so whenever I saw Holga from the D&D movie had her own card, I knew I had to build a Big Mommy Magic deck around the two big brawny barbarians. And I mean, it's like the Bash Bros from the Mighty Ducks with a femme twist. So, you know, who can't go wrong? Holga has haste, for those who don't know the card, and says Holga must be blocked if able. Whenever Holga attacks, each creature you control attacking a player gets +1/+0 until the end of turn for each creature that player controls. So that means big ladies that will just mud stomp the shit out of your opponents. And I mean, hey, why not? Now, when looking through the backgrounds, it was easy to gravitate towards making a Karlach mono red deck, which is what a lot of people do. The one background that a lot of people choose for Karlach is Tavern Brawler. And Tavern Brawler says, commander creatures you own have, at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. This creature gets +X/+0 until the end of turn, where X is the card's mana value. You may play that card this turn, which is great if you're wanting to hit a bunch of times. But I wanted it to be consistently hitting for that much and maybe not hitting at all for like a lower thing. So whenever I saw the Flaming Fist background, I was like, oh, this is perfect. Which states commander creatures you own have, whenever this creature attacks, it gains double strike until the end of turn. So my 5/4 commander can now hit 10 twice a turn. So there's not really a debate whenever it comes to choosing that background. I'm hoping that I see a lot more Karlach Boros decks. I'm just saying. I want Karlach Boros to just stomp me while I'm stomping others. Just think of it this way. Add any modifiers, any equipment, anything else, you can easily just have a big stompy Karlach that just runs through the competition pretty quick. And I mean, she's fairly cheap mana wise. She's 4 in red and then 2 in white for the background. So it can be a lot to get her out, but if you're able to have creatures that tap for mana or able to search your library for lands, you can get her out pretty easily. Whenever I first built this deck, it was one of the first decks that I built. I kind of just threw a bunch of big ladies together in the Boros colors. So red and white for those who don't know, who might be new to the gang. And I was hoping for the best. But when I played the deck, I wasn't really getting the feeling of winning with it. I didn't get any wins, and if I did, it was a fluke. So I wanted to make sure that there was a consistency. I kept the background, but then I kind of switched some other cards around. There were times that I could swing out big and do some major damage, but there wasn't a possible win. So I was like, there's got to be some changes. So I went back to the drawing board and tried to see if there was a way to carry on a theme of big ladies, but in a way that still worked like an army instead of individually, because whenever the big ladies all attack together, they all get +1/+0 for each creature you control with Holga. And I will say this, I did win a game recently with Holga and Karlach on the board. Somebody took out one of the another player. I took him and the rest of the board out with Karlach. I just went down the row and I was just like, all right. And the last person kind of just, shook my hand and called it a day. I was feeling very proud of myself. So whenever I went back to the drawing board, I said, okay, it's D&D. I know I'm building a lot of D&D decks because of my Baldur's Gate 3 people, but I wanted this one to really utilize the party mechanic. For those who don't know what the party mechanic is, it's when you have one of each cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard class on your board. Some cards pump up your party when they're all out, or if you're looking to reset the board with cards like Stick Together, which, shocker, I have in this deck. Stick Together states, each player chooses a party from among creatures they control then sacrifices the rest. So if your opponents aren't really building in the party system, you are about to be the only one with creatures on the board. So if you do that in your first main, then you can swing out in combat and then clean up on your second main and hope for the best. And while your opponents are rebuilding their board, you are kind of, having a front line in front of you. So now that I figured out the mechanics, it was time to pull out things that didn't really work or didn't fit within the mana curve that I wanted. But then I read Karlach, and the unfortunate part is that Karlach is not considered a warrior under the party mechanic, which sucks. But, I love my barbarian. I will do anything for my barbarian. But then I looked into cards that would keep her in place. So I went the way of putting some flicker cards in my deck for that exact reason, to make sure that I always have Karlach on the board. Or if she has to go away, she's not going away all the time. Then it was back to making sure that the ladies that I kept or added were up to task for getting more bang for my buck. I chose not just big ladies by way of their power and toughness, but also whenever it comes to their abilities. If there was an ability that buffed up their party with +1/+1 counters, I added them. If they gave card draw, I added them. Lifelinkers, I added. Tramplers were added. The list goes on and on and on. I took some things out. I replace some things. For the ladies fitting into the party mechanic we talked about earlier, I made sure that we had a good handful of each type and limited the non-party creature type to just a few that were definitely going to hit hard and did something extraordinary. As for our instances, sorceries, and enchantments, there's a smattering of each whenever it comes to building up the creatures, and whether that's permanently or temporarily, and stopping it altogether. So the one that I think helps a lot is the Paladin class enchantment. It comes from, the D&D sets, and I picked it up, and I'm hoping, one, it helps pump up my creatures, but also stops people from countering my creatures because it's going to cost a lot more to cast spells on my turn. Plus, it stays consistent with the D&D theme that I'm going for, so it's, a win-win. The other enchantment that I was really excited about getting was Unquestioned Authority, which is a fairly older card, which states, when this aura enters, draw a card. Enchanted creature has protection from creatures, meaning attaching this to Karlach makes her unblockable and makes her a great shield for my board. So she can just take the damage and nothing happens to her. I haven't been able to pop off with Unquestioned Authority yet, but whenever I do, I'm going to feel so good about it. It's going to be so great. But yeah, whenever I saw it in the box, I gave a little giggle. I was just like, oh, this is too good. And I had to make sure that I was reading it correctly. Because, Mama K is about to stomp people with this card. It's just going to be good. For my part, I wanted to keep the mana build of this pretty simple. I have about 35 lands in the deck, but also your standard ramp artifacts. So Arcane Signet, Soul Ring, I have a Fire Diamond in there just to round it out. I have added some creatures that will also give me mana. Also some planeswalkers. So Chandra the Flame Shaper gives us mana whenever we add loyalty counters, and so I'm really excited about that. She's the more expensive one, but hey, I hope she's a good addition. If anything, we can easily change her out for something else. I've also included more D&D cards into this deck, so I'll be going on adventures and hopefully beating some dungeons to pick up extra boosts. This is essentially an all-femme adventuring party, so gotta make the most of it, right? There are some other cards. Trust me, there are other cards that I'm considering. So if you're about to put Authority consoles in the comments, trust me, it's on my wish list. it's just the card by itself is so freaking expensive. And it's great because, you know, I'm able to gain life if I lose any, and opponent's creatures come in tapped. So if I have untapped creatures, I can easily just plow through the tapped ones. There's also Zariel, Archduke of Avernus, which will pump my creatures and give me more combat phases. But I really want her as a flavor card more than anything, because if you've played Baldur's Gate 3, you know that Karlach and Zariel have a history, and I think it'll just be great to add more, like, you know, nuance to my fun D&D Baldur's Gate 3 deck. But look, they can kiss and make up later. So you're probably wondering what bracket this deck is. It is a solid bracket too. This is according to Architect, and it's priced at around like $69 on ManaPool. Nice. I'm sure there are other ways to get this to bracket 3, you know, the cards that I mentioned, but I'm happy with what I have right now. And honestly, this is more of like, I pull this out at my pod if I want, you know, to try to win. I'm mostly there to have fun and just, you know, be social. Plus, who doesn't want a bracket 2 to win against some bracket 4s? Ugh, it's just so good. How are we feeling about the Big Mommy Magic deck? Are you loving Mama K? Would you play this deck? Do you have any suggestions for some of the cards that I can include? If you want to see the full list of the deck list, you can see it over on ManaPool. You can buy the deck over on ManaPool. And yeah, I'm really excited to play this deck some more, especially now that I've finally tweaked it. And if you like videos like this or other nerdy things, you should, you know, like and subscribe, leave a comment, whatever you do to get more of these videos on your feed. I also have some really cool magic related merch items coming out soon, whether that's playmats, drawing my own tokens and things like that. So just be on the lookout. And if you want to support me outside of just the content that I make, but also get some more content, consider becoming a patron over on Patreon. Free members get all sorts of amazing benefits, like a monthly newsletter and early access to my podcast, After the Table. And paid tiers start at $7 a month and get so much curated goodness. I'm just saying, you should do it. Support a queer lady making queer-ass decks for Magic. Thanks again to ManaPool for supporting us over here on my channel. I'm really excited to be partnering with them for content like this, and I hope y'all really like their site. Go check out their sealed product, and maybe you can find a single or two for your next commander deck. With all that being said, have some fun at your next game, and I will see you on the internet. Goodbye.